How can a single photo feel like a warning and a goodbye? I didn't understand it at first. The message came at 11:48 p.m. No caption. Just the moon. Pale, grainy, caught between moving clouds. And at the corner of her window, a shadow. Strange what the mind refuses to believe. I remember staring at that photo, thinking maybe it was her own reflection. Maybe a coat hanging. Maybe anything that wasn't what it looked like. Judith always photographed the ordinary like it meant something. Light on wet glass. Strangers on the train. The world, in her eyes, was half sadness, half miracle. But that night, something about that image felt different. The silence in it, like she'd captured fear itself, standing still. I texted back, "What's that in your window?" No reply, just the faint whoosh of delivered, not read. I told myself she'd fallen asleep, that maybe she was tired, that maybe everything was fine. But even then, the moon in that picture seemed to be looking past her, as if seeing something she couldn't. They say memory protects us by erasing what hurts first. Maybe that's why I can't remember what I did next. Did I call her? Did I scroll past it? Did I tell myself not to overthink? All I know is the next morning, her street was blocked off. And when I looked at that same photo again, the shadow in the window wasn't where I thought it was. It had moved closer to the camera. You ever notice how silence can sound heavier after something happens? Like the air itself remembers? That night I couldn't sleep. The wind kept pressing against the windows, the kind that makes you check the locks twice. I looked across the street, Judith's window. The light was still on. She never left it on that late. I used to see her through the blinds sometimes, editing her photos, back turned to the world. Always gentle light, always motion. But that night, nothing moved. I remember thinking maybe she'd fallen asleep at her desk. Then the curtain shifted, just slightly, like someone was standing there, listening. I froze. I told myself it was the wind, the draft, anything but what it looked like. The moonlight was strange. Too bright, almost white-blue, cutting through the trees like it wanted to show me something. And that's when I saw it, the flash. A quick, blinding pulse of light from inside her room. No thunder, no noise, just light and then nothing. I should have called someone. I didn't. I told myself maybe she was testing her camera. She was always taking pictures, you know? Always catching moments nobody else noticed. But that night, the moment caught her. The next morning, there were police cars, the tape, the reporters with their careful voices. And when they carried out that phone in a plastic bag, the one that sent the photo, I knew what I'd seen wasn't just light. I knew it was the exact second the photo was taken. The one everyone keeps talking about. The one with the moon and the shadow behind her. I've looked at thousands of photos in my line of work. They all start the same: evidence, pixels, timestamps. But this one didn't behave. Judith Ortega. Recovered device. Last image taken, 11:48 p.m. That number means nothing until you stare at the screen long enough. Then it starts to breathe. The moon hangs low, blurred by motion. Her window glows behind the reflection. And in that corner, a shadow, human, but off somehow, like the shape refused to stand still. I zoomed in until the image broke into static. The outline pulsed between forms. One frame wider shoulders, another thinner, another empty altogether. Like the photo couldn't decide what it had captured. The metadata should have helped. Didn't. The file showed 2 exposures taken 1 second apart. But the first doesn't exist anymore. Someone deleted it before the upload finished. You can't erase half a second without leaving fingerprints. Yet here we are. I turned off the monitor and listened. The station hum, the clicking radiator, the kind of sounds that test your sanity. I thought I heard breathing from the speaker beside the phone. A slow inhale under the static hiss. I replayed the clip 5 times. Nothing but wind. Still, I wrote in my report, possible ambient interference. Because you can't write I heard her there. When I stepped outside, the night had the same color as her photograph. The clouds moving slow, the moon low, the same direction of light. And for a second, I could swear there was a figure in the reflection of my car window, standing where I should have been. I didn't look again. The door still smelled like rain when I pushed it open. Her room hadn't been touched. The camera on the desk, the lens cap off, a cup of tea gone cold beside a single hair tie. And then the wall. At first I thought it was light catching paint. Then I saw the words. Not ink. Not spray. Her handwriting, drawn in something that looked halfway between dust and blood. For sentences. Uneven. Slanted like she'd written standing up. Fast. If the moon turns its face, don't follow the light. He isn't outside anymore. I heard myself knock. Tell my mother I remembered. I read them twice before I understood the last line was newer, fresher strokes, darker shade. She'd come back to finish it. Hours? Minutes? Nobody could say. There were finger marks beside each sentence, trailing downward, as if she tried to wipe them away and changed her mind. The handwriting was calm. No tremor. No rush. Like she wasn't afraid when she wrote it. Just certain. I photographed every letter, but the photos looked wrong. The wall changed texture under the flash, the words bending, shrinking. When I printed them later, line 3 was missing. Gone completely, as if the wall had decided it shouldn't be read twice. I still hear it sometimes when I close my eyes. I heard myself knock. The phone was found under her pillow. One unfinished voice memo, 37 seconds long. When I pressed play, there was no greeting, just breathing, the kind you make when you're writing and talking to yourself at the same time. If the moon turns its face, don't follow the light, she whispers. Paper moves. A marker squeaks against the wall. Then silence. You can hear her swallow once before she speaks again. Clearer now. He isn't outside anymore. Pause. It's me. I opened the door. A chair scrapes. A cup tips over. The sound of her own steps pacing slow circles. I heard myself knock, she says, almost laughing. Maybe memory walks ahead of us and waits. Another pause, long enough to count heartbeats. Then softer, smaller. Like a prayer she's forgotten the words to finish. Tell my mother I remembered. The smell of rain. The first photo she ever let me take. The file ends mid-breath. No click, no stop, just absence, like the recorder decided enough had been said. I sat there in the evidence room, replaying those seconds until they blurred together. Each time, a different word seemed to fade. First, mother. Then, remembered. By the 10th playback, the only thing left audible was her last inhale. Quiet, deliberate, almost relieved. That's when I realized she hadn't been warning anyone. She'd been reminding herself. The detective slid a small recorder across the table. He didn't speak. He just pressed play. And there she was, my daughter's breath, caught between wanting to speak and vanishing. 37 seconds. I counted them. At first, I thought it was background noise. Then I heard the pen dragging across the wall. That soft squeak she always made when she wrote too hard. It sounded determined, like she was etching time itself, afraid it might disappear before she finished the sentence. When she whispered, "Tell my mother I remembered," something in my chest cracked, because I knew exactly what she meant. The rain that night, I remember it too. Her first photo was of me standing in it, barefoot, holding an umbrella with a missing spoke. She said it looked like the sky had a heartbeat. I didn't realize until now. That's what she was drawing on her wall. A heartbeat. Her last one. The detective asked if I wanted to keep the recorder. I said no, because every time I listen, I hear it differently. Once she's afraid. Once she's calm. Once she's already gone. But in all versions, the last sound before silence is a knock. Faint. Measured. Not from outside the room, but from within the wall itself. It wasn't someone trying to come in. It was Judith trying to get out of her own ending. I went back to her room one last time. Not as an investigator, just as someone who couldn't stop hearing her name when the wind moved. The handwriting on the wall had faded, but under the black light, new words appeared beneath the paint. Small, trembling, written in a loop that broke halfway through. I thought I heard someone knock, but it was me, wanting to go home. The ink had bled through 3 layers of plaster. That means she wrote it over and over, until her hand gave up, but her will didn't. There was a reflection in the window when I turned off the light, the same moon she photographed that night. And in that reflection, you could still see the faint outline of her writing. Not as a message, not as a clue, but as proof she was still trying to be understood, even when no one was listening. They closed the case file last month. The official words said, unresolved. But I keep a copy of the photo she sent, the one of the moon, because when I look at it long enough, I can almost see her face in the glass. Not afraid, just waiting. If you ever find yourself staring at a photo that doesn't feel right, look closer. Some stories don't end when the police stop writing. They end when someone finally listens. Subscribe to the Veil of Secret, where every silence has a story.